Hey people, Broken Puppet, and this is how to draw an old school eagle. Enjoy. Alright people, how to draw an old school traditional eagle. Now this one's pretty badass and it's a bit more free flowing than the other one. You know, I taught you like I think in the past wing spreads and like, you know, sort of from the back view kind of like squatted on the branch sort of thing. This one's going to be kind of in flight, so like a bit more kind of dynamic, a bit more twisty as well. So here goes. Get yourself an oval, like so. Just do a curve off the front of it, almost like an oval. Just don't do that, you know, the other half. So you're just sort of curving this around. Kind of tells you where you want your beak. The bottom bit's going to kind of curve up off of that. So you sort of curve into it and then curve into the circle sort of shape. Once you get a little bit further back than that top bit, just curve that across and curve that back. This sort of just gives the basic sort of shape of the face. And you're going to have, if you imagine where this kind of curves here, if you sit like a circle so it kind of fits nicely in this curve, that's where the eye would be, but we'll have like the eyebrow cutting across the top like so. So circle and then curve across it. Bring this curve back, you know, kind of across this oval shape and kind of curve it up towards the end. Same way, but this time you want to bring this in separate lines. So bring a line and just keep curving new lines, kind of round and around, like so, until you kind of have like a rough sort of like curve of lines going around here. This just to show the bend in head motion as it's going to curve around the neck into the body. And now as you sort of follow that curve, just sort of like bring like a circular shape, just coming above the body, above the head, like so. Don't worry about bringing it across here because you're not going to see this because the wing's going to cut it off. You just want that curve sitting above. Around here we're going to have one claw, and the other one, if you imagine, come from this body. So if we bring this line down here, the other claw is going to be sort of down here sort of thing. Bring the line back just to give this leg a little bit of body. We'll add the detail afterwards. It's just plotting out where everything's going to go. From behind this neck we're going to start the wing, and I'm going to curve it, come almost to a point and then curve. So you want it to sort of, you want a clear sort of definition like where this one curves. You can do a smooth curve, I quite like it a clear bend. So clear that and then just curve outwards. Don't worry about the detail for now, we're just going to bring this back and just a couple little circles just to flesh out that sort of shape. And that's the base bit of the wing. And then just keep bringing like little semicircle shapes, just build up a little bit of body just there. That's the inside bit. And coming off of here, I'm going to build the wing. So just bring in these kind of like V shapes and just having them arching and slowly curving as you go further down. You don't want them all pointing in the same direction, you want them bending. So as it goes down, just bend it. You want one layer and then you want a second coming off of that. The second layer you always want it a little bit longer. I always make my second ones come off of the first one, so just a little bit lower than that and come in between it. So each one kind of fits between these ones, like so. The second wing's going to come off of here, I think. So I'm going to have this one curve in off here. So if you imagine like you come off from this leg bit, you curve off. And the same principle, you curve, come almost to a point, and then we're going to curve back. Now this one isn't going to have this inside bit here because this is sitting, you're going to be sitting outside of the wing, inside outside. So this one we're just going to see the semicircle shapes like we've got here, and then this will go into the wings. So again, just curve, slowly bend it, and then bring in your second wings, fit in there. And that's where your second set of wings is going to go. And lastly you want the tail feathers. So for tail feathers I'm going to start around here. So we sort of curve down, just measuring from there down there. I'm going to box this across and curve that back into it. So you see you want like a nice curve, and you want these two lines kind of slowly going in, so we'll come to that same point. If you imagine like there on that wing, they give you a nice even curve. Just divide that, just put some even lines coming through, just divide that up. Now as you can see, we now built out the basic shape for the eagle. But now we've got this, we can start bringing in a refined detail. And the little bits we're going to do just to show everything. So I'm going to start with the face. Start with the eye, so I'm just going to bring in this curve here, around this eye. And now this line's going to come back quite far. Bring in this eye. I'm going to do another semicircle, another circle, just there. And then another one just here. But you only get part of this circle because it's obviously the light, and that's the pupil. So it's going to be like that. After this, I'm just going to bring in some other little lines. Just 1, 2, 3, quite close together. Let's curve that one coming up there. I'm not going to go back too far, just so I'm going to build up bit by bit. Bring it up for this beak. Now remember, it is old school, so it's not going to be too overly detailed. If we make it too detailed, it just takes away from the old school feel. So we curve that to where this joins up, curve down to a point, curve out. Bring that line back. I like to have this one just overlapping it a little bit, curve up, make a little dip just in between. See, just there. So you curve that into a little dip, come back there. Little nostril just there, and bring back from there, just coming behind there, so you got that bottom bit of the mouth just sort of forming. Like so. I'm going to curve this line back, and now once we get to as far as these lines were, I'm going to curve up in a little bit, curve back to a point, curve back into it, dip in the middle a bit, curve back out. I'm going to keep doing this, slowly bending them as we go up. So eventually we get here, and this one will just go into like half a one, like so. So you see, just putting that little feather kind of sort of, you know, detailing. And we'll dye just inside each one just for decoration. You can have further details in here if you want, but remember, the more detailed you make it, the less old school it's going to feel, and the more neo-traditional it's going to turn out. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just doing an old school one. So bring in that kind of circle bit for the back. Now on the back you want just semicircles, all even, overlapping each other on top. So go to the centre of it, so do a semicircle to the centre of it, and come off. And just keep doing them in lines until you're at the top. And then your one's going to never go over this line, just go under it. So when you get to the edges, just stop. So we're going to detail this wing bit now. So I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to curve back here. Once we get here, a little semicircle, one long one, and then just go straight. And this inside, big semicircle shape, just like we've done here, just slightly bigger. I'm going to go too crazy with these, I just want a few little layers. There I do. And then these wings. Now these wings I'm going to go up, going to bring back a little bit to a point, and then do a secondary curve. So out, bring back a little bit, dip down again. And the top wings, a bit more simple, try to have like, you know, nice big V's. Just then we're going to start with the semicircles. You can build up a couple more layers if you want on this because it's on the outside. But it's up to you. You'll stop there, I think. There we go. And now I'm going to do, because the claw's in front, I'm going to do the claw. So let's start with this one. Because this claw is going to be the front, this one's going to be just like a V with a curve. Like sort of circle on the outside. Bring that up and curve that round. Off the side of it, I'm going to bring a line out. Curve the chord, curve the claw this time. So you see like that, little V-shape curved. Bring the curve underneath. Bring that back, a little bump just there. And just on top of this, just bring back a few little detail curves. Similar on this side, just going to curve this one out. Now this is only because this one's almost like facing frontwards. You know, when the side angle is slightly different, I'll show you the side angle for the other one. It's just a real cool basic old school way of doing it. Bring a circle just above it to show kind of like these knee almost. Very bit just there, just come off of the leg piece. Little curve there just at the bottom of his body. Now this line's going to come down. And what we're going to do here is just have repeating curve shape like that. Just curve and just curve off of it. Do it again and just leave a little gap in between each one. See, so it's got this little gap here. Just make a nice cool shine. So here, I'm going to bring this line off and show you how this claw's on it kind of sideways now. So bring this out. Create your curved claw on the edge. Curved claw. I always keep saying curved. Curve that circle back off the bottom. Bring that back. A few little curved lines just at the top. You'll see it more clearly when I mark it up in pen, so don't worry if you can't see it completely clearly. Off this one, bring a line down this way. Create your claw. Create that bottom bit. Curve back again, just a little curve, curve, curve. And then off of this one, behind this one, curve up. Create your claw. Circle. Bring that back. Curve, curve, curve. Off the back here, I'm just going to have almost like a little hair bit, so I'm just going to have lines repeating, coming off of there to nothing. The tail feather, this is just going to do curves to join them up at the bottom. Bring the lines back. And you might do a little box detail just in each one at the bottom. And maybe a little line detail just there. Just create a nice little pattern work to make it look pretty cool. So now we've got that, I'm going to pen that in. I'm going quite thick with this, so it kind of has that old school vibe to it. You can go thinner. I'm just using a Sharpie. You can use pencils if you want, paints, whatever you feel comfortable using, just use that. This paper is just basic kind of craft paper. So this one's White Brighton, which is like scrap paper. It's not really designed for drawing on, but I tend to draw on it. I just like it. You know, don't feel like you have to follow the rules when it comes to paper and like pens and stuff. You know, whatever works for you works. It doesn't matter if it's the textbook way of doing it or if it's just how you want to do it. You know, never let the rule book stop you drawing what you want to draw. the way you want to draw it. Unless you're stealing someone's word, then that's just plain wrong. Don't do that. So just going over all this line work. Just flicking some little lines there, just to get that kind of feathery look. Feathery, more like fairy, to be honest. His hair is blowing in the wind. Just bringing in all those lines. You can see we're almost getting there now. The trick to old school is just really good simple line work. You know, and then nice bold shading. And lots of black. Lots of good smooth colours. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too detailed. You know. When you think of old school, think more like pattern work and stylizing, simplifying. If you're used to drawing like realistic stuff, it can be a bit of a change. it's worth it though, you know, because I mean, realistic stuff is amazing. I love doing realistic stuff, it's one of my favourite things to do. But you learn so much more by doing other styles as well. You know, as silly as it sounds, there's so much I've learned from doing like old school that I can apply to other styles. You know, so much I've learned from doing Asian style that I can apply to neo-traditional, you know, to realistic. Now, if you want to specialise in something, fair enough, but never feel like you have to just limit yourself just for the sake of limiting yourself. You never have to. So that's the line work done now. Grab my rubber and rub out the pencil work. And I'm going to flick in the shading. Start with black. Just certain key areas you want it to come in nice and strong. Mainly wherever it's like kind of like underneath. Like his legs is underneath this bit, so I'm going to black around that area. This body bit's just underneath this neck, so that gets blacked. This comes behind the wing, so that gets blacked. Sometimes at the edges, like here, this little bit here, I'm going to black that. Sometimes just little cool corner bits, like so. So it looks cool there. In between these feathers. I'm just flicking a black in. I normally will use a side to side motion, but there's not too much difference between my black and my darkest grey. So I'm okay just to flick this in. I can easily blend that into the grey and then go into the traditional side to side motion that kind of gives that old school kind of vibe you want. Sometimes just a little bit, just there. See, like, you know, not quite touching the edge. Breaking the rules in using this kind of liner, but there we go. It's that little highlight in the eye. And I've done that, going to get me great. So you can see, because how close these two are, it just blends into it really easy. These are just Winsor & Newton brush markers. You can use water paints, pencils, whatever you want. Again, Winsor & Newton brush markers. And the paper, again, is, see what I brought in this one. It's just basic craft paper. It's not really designed for drawing on. It's more like a scrapbook thing, but I just really like it. Like I always say, you know, feel free to break the rules. You know, whatever works for you works. You know, you want to draw on toilet paper, draw on toilet paper if you can. Whatever floats your boat and whatever you like to do. And once you get down to your lighter shade, you can kind of flick it out. Now on this kind of paper, the brush markers do wet it, so they will go brighter, brighter and lighter as they dry. So you see initially how I'm doing this bit now, you see it comes out here, compared to when it's over there where it's sort of drying a little bit. It will go even lighter than that, but you can see the clear difference. A few of these areas I'm not too worried about, because where I'm going to put the brown's going to take away, well, it's just going to blend in really well with a lot of the grey, so a lot of the areas where it's not overly smooth transition, it will be after you put the brown in. There we go. Almost there. Into the grate. Just a few little bits here, just halfway through these little feather bits. Put it here at the bottom. That we just ran top of that head. Now I'm going to get me my brown and colour in. To start with the scales. I'm going to colour them in, but I'm going to leave a little highlight just around the edge. If you want to colour them in solid, feel free to colour them in solid. You know, you don't have to leave the highlight. I just think the highlight looks cool. Just put in all this brown work. I do take your time with this, you know, be patient. Good artwork is not created in seconds, it's created usually in hours and God knows how long. Speed I'm doing this set is pretty quick. I'd say you can kind of colour however you really want to. I'm going to go brown, do a red bit, do these bits maybe reds, and leave this bit white. You know, a nice little white tail. Doesn't matter if it's the exact colours, you know, that they are, it's what you want it to be. So for now, I've got this, my brown. I'm going to flick in just a tiny little bit of light brown, just in the corners, that will go into some yellow areas. Nothing crazy, just a little bit here, just on the beak. tiny little bit just on the corner of the claws, just to create a tiny hint of shade, but nothing crazy. It's just a pro marker, this one. I get a lot of people asking me what kind of paper to use. You know what I mean? Like, I use this one. You know, but a lot of people sort of saying I have trouble using like bleed-proof paper and just random little things. It's a very, very common question I get quite a lot. And my advice is, you know, just try different things. Don't feel like you have to use the one they say. You know, I mean, it does help sometimes and that, but you know, it's like if you're using watercolor paints, you don't necessarily have to use watercolor paper. If you don't want to, try on anything you want. You know. If you're using pencils, you ain't got to use special pencil paper. Using, you know, markers, you ain't got to use special marker paper. You know, just use whatever it is you want to use, what you feel comfortable using. You know, experiment, try different things. Straight just next to it, like so. And blue, a little bit of blue just around that pupil. A bit of red just in that mouth. And pretty much there you have it. That's how to draw an old school eagle. Now, you can trick it out, you can do stuff behind it, you can have it sort of interacting with other animals, you know, all sorts, you know, but that is the basic general aesthetics of the eagle, from this angle anyway. Yeah, I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe, comment, yada. You guys know the usual routine. I'm the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.